April here, and I am back with another vlogumentary to try to shed some light on aerobic base training. To do this, I'm going to be using the Paddle Ninja Surprise 10K Challenge. After performing my own 10K time trial as a maximum aerobic function test, I'm going to train aerobically, talk about what that aerobic training feels like, and then also address some common mistakes. In 8 weeks, I'm going to retest and see if I get the results that I'm looking for. So follow along, and I hope that this journey helps you in your future paddling endeavors.
Guys, all right, so today I'm going to be doing my 10K time trial as a maximum aerobic function test. But I want to maximize my efficiency, maximize my stroke, and put down as much power as humanly possible while keeping the heart rate in check. So sometimes I might change my breathing to see if that can compensate for the rise in heart rate. If I can't bring that back down with just breathing, then I might have to reduce the power that I'm putting down each stroke, or reduce my stroke rate, or any combination of those three factors. I do have some threshold zones and some kind of rough targets in my head, and so we'll see if those are realistic or not. Okay, I'm on. Right on the money. It's gotta be done. Okay, I did it. 35 seconds too slow.
Okay, that was fun and all, but why would we ever want to train our aerobic systems? If you're paddling for more than 2 minutes, then you are using your aerobic metabolism. It would make sense that you target your aerobic system in training. The aerobic system is what you're targeting with long, easy paddling, and it primarily uses slow twitch muscles. The development of your slow twitch muscles, which takes a lot longer than fast twitch muscles, as we'll discuss later in this video, is crucial to being able to hold faster speeds for longer, and has a direct relation to how efficient your anaerobic system can become. My favorite graphic to show this is from the book Training for the Uphill Athlete. I highly recommend you check out the website at the very least. But most people don't feel like they're getting a workout in these proper zones.
Every time I look at people's workouts, they're constantly blowing through the proper heart rate zones.
To really hammer this point home, I've called in the help of the gurus yet again.
Like if you just want to lose weight or have a good time and work hard, then it's great. You know, you go out and push and breathe hard, but you know, when you're in that kind of breathing hard zone where you're not sprinting or gaining speed and you're going too hard to gain base, that's the garbage zone, right? That's what we used to call it, garbage zone. You're not gaining speed, you're not gaining base. You get a workout, but that's all you really get. The beautiful thing about base work is you can work on technique because you're not going too hard. So you can work on technique and feel. And that is huge when it comes to paddling.
These aerobic base development periods, it's so slow, you're gonna feel like you're doing nothing at all. And
you don't feel like you're working. You know, so and it's, even when you get off the water, like you come off the water and you feel like I didn't do anything. And a lot of people get on the water and they want to go get a workout in. Well, you can go get a workout in, but you're not gonna be training your zones that you need if you have a goal.
So if you have a goal and aren't training just for generic working out and fat loss, you should train your aerobic system. How does one start to train their aerobic system?
So this week, one of the first workouts up on the programming for the 10K improvement plan is 8 4-minute intervals. I've got my chest strap heart rate monitor on, and I want to see how fast can I go without letting my heart rate come out of that, like the 130 to 137 zone. I want to do like a 950, so that's a sub 10-minute mile. I want to hold 950s at 137 beats per minute. I said that out loud, but I probably shouldn't have. 10-minute miles at 135 would be good, but I'm trying to improve. Perfect, right there. Okay, I found the pace I want, and my heart rate was low to start, but it was climbing. So I don't want to like overdo it in the beginning. So if I start out at too fast a pace and go, oh, look, my heart rate's low, but then halfway through the 4-minute piece, my heart rate, I get that cardiac drift, okay, then I've performed the interval incorrectly. If I feel like my heart rate got a little too high, I'll take a deep nose breath and a nice relaxing exhale to correct my heart rate without changing the pace too much, because what I'm really after right now is consistency in my stroke and efficiency.
So it's a game, you know, that's why you wear the heart rate monitor, right? I mean, every time, I'm a lazy paddler, but every time I paddle, you know, I love speed. I'm always pushing the speed of the boat and trying to hold back the heart rate, right? And it's easy to force that boat faster, and oh yeah, it's more fun and I'm breathing hard, but you know, even a life goal, I don't think you want to do it that way.
Even though I'm after consistency and efficiency and training by pace, sometimes Mother Nature has other plans. If you have wind and tide to battle, don't train by mileage, train by time.
It's always time on the water and not necessarily how far you're going.
You need to go out and paddle 15 miles today. Well, you probably just only need to go out and paddle for 2 hours. If you're not fast enough to finish those 15 miles, you're going to be pushing too hard, because in your mindset, you're like, it has to be 15 miles today. So these guys are out there killing themselves trying to get the mileage, and then they're out of their zone, going too hard when they're trying to develop their base.
Got a headwind again. I gotta keep the heart rate right when the headwind comes. Just accept that the pace isn't gonna be what my goal is.
It was a northeast wind at 11 knots, and you know the tide was going out, and you were going into it for the first half of your 2 hour paddle. Well, that's okay. Stay in your heart rate, work where you got to work, and you don't have to hit those 15 miles.
It's so hard when you watch your speed tank into the wind, and all you want to do is just apply a little bit more pressure so that the pace stays the same. But that it pops me right to 140, which is 3 beats per minute out of my zone. And before you say, does that even matter? Yes. You know what? Because even if it doesn't matter, like if there's error and you didn't get a good night's sleep or it's hot out, or I had too much coffee, like so my heart rate's 140 instead of 137, but it matters because of the discipline. Just before you make a ton of physiological arguments, just try to be disciplined enough to stay in your zone for one complete training plan before you start like asking whether or not it matters physiologically. Let's work on your discipline first.
Even bigger than the discipline to stay in your base when paddling in conditions is the discipline to go slow when you've got limited time on the water. Most paddlers struggle with getting time in the seat, and mentally it's hard to accept that base work is the best use of a short paddling window.
I know Johnny never writes mileage, he writes hours or minutes or whatever it is. And then for me, we always called it time in the seat. There's a certain amount of time you have to put in the seat. And for me, it's always a mental factor. If the time starts to push that 1 hour, 2 hour workout, I can prepare myself to be in a base zone because I know it's going to be long. If I have 45 minutes to get a workout in and the kids are running around and I got to pick them up at a certain time, then it's really difficult for me to get in the mentality of go easy for 45 minutes. So even though it's the workout and what's needed to be done, I physically can't do it. If I got 45 minutes and not paddling for 2 more days, I'm going to go crank it. So I know a lot of that's just mental, but it is a major, major part of just trying to fit paddling into your lifestyle.
That's what I face with a lot of the recreational paddlers that want to succeed, is that they only got a short window and getting on the water 3 times a week, and that's their only workout. They want to always feel like they did something. They have a lot more recovery, and trying to reel them in is tough.
Training, any sort of training program you follow, people, they only work out 4 to 5 times a week, which is great. I mean, I say only, but I mean, heck, you work out 2 to 3 times a week and you're doing better than most of America. So you feel like you gotta go out there, and you actually have the steam when you recover. If you're not working out 7 to 10 times a week, then you can go out 4 to 5 times a week and go a little too hard, and you're gonna recover in time for that next session. But you're still not improving your aerobic fitness when you do that.
But base training programs and base, it's a confidence thing. You have to be confident and you have to buy into a program. So I know I worked with Danny a lot on training stuff, because a lot of times he was overtraining in the past. Maybe now too, who knows? But it's a buy-in thing. If you're going to be working your base, you have to be okay with not feeling like you're working hard on the water. Otherwise, you're kind of pushing into the wrong zone.
As you can see, even top athletes struggle with life balance. It's true. We all get busy with work, school, or family, or all of the above. And we want to make the best use of what time we have available. And training at high intensities seems like the way to do that. Not to mention, when you train at high intensities, you see the results quickly. This makes believing in base work even harder.
And if you followed along in my 9 to 9 sprint, you might note that it only took me 8 to 9 weeks to drastically increase my speed. And it's because the systems that use anaerobic energy train very quickly. They also detrain very quickly.
Seeing such quick results makes us happy, and it's ingrained into our current society of instant gratification. Not to mention, the small improvements we're making in speed at an aerobic level are spread out over a longer distance than a 2-minute or less anaerobic effort. Therefore, it's more subject to interference from the weather conditions, as we talked about earlier, and that is especially important to note when doing time trials in order to measure your progress.
Wind is pretty strong for a time trial.
But I'm getting ahead of myself.
So when I perform my 10K, 8 weeks from my first 10K time trial aerobically, I'm not anticipating seeing a huge jump in my performance. You got to make sure that the conditions are similar, the tide isn't wildly different, the wind, everything else is consistent from the first to the second time trial.
Thank you guys so much for following along during the Paddle Ninja 10K challenge. So far, I hope we've made the case to train your aerobic system and that you'll keep following with this style of training whenever you're feeling really stressed at work, you need to recover, or you have base work in your annual training plan. Today, I want to talk about how I'm preparing for my second 10K time trial in the short term. So this is really just a workout where I'm trying to ensure that I maximize my speed while keeping my heart rate in my desired zone. It is in essence a time trial, so I do want to eat right, warm up properly, and stay focused. So this is just my go-to pre-workout, pre-race breakfast. It is a protein pancake recipe that I will post in the show notes. I just thrown it in this little dish so that I can bake it while I'm getting my boat ready. If you're someone who gets a little stressed whenever doing a workout, a time trial, or a race, I want you to try this little mindset training tip. So you're gonna take some painter's tape, masking tape, even electrical tape, something that's gonna stick to your boat or your board. And I want you to take whatever words that come to mind when you feel about your race or your time trial or a hard workout or something where you're gonna be testing yourself. What words come to mind? And if they're negative, go into Google and look up the antonyms. So look up the opposite of the word that you are stating that's negative. So for my group, pain, stress, and anxiety, I would write on my tape their antonym.
Pleasing, relaxing, calming. That's what paddling should be. Trust. Trust that the slow aerobic work you do will pay off. If you're constantly coming from a place of distrust and panic and fear, your inability to train your aerobic zone is based in fear. Fear that you're not working out hard enough. Fear that you're not gonna reach your full potential. Fear that if you don't go out there and absolutely just crush yourself, that you'll never reach the goals that you've set for yourself. And nothing could be further from the truth. When you start training and competing and living from a place of trust, calm, relax, when you stop training from a place of fear, you will see results. Well, see how this 10K time trial goes.
All right, girl, get that heart rate up. Come on. You might live to be as old as I am, maybe.
I might.
Good Lord bless you.
Alright, I let my heart rate come out of my zone. Dial it back. It's because I'm into the wind. And I don't want to be. Stay calm. Just relax. Second lap, 9:53. It's good considering got a decent bit of wind. A lot of beeping from my heart rate monitor. There it goes again. Got to see my split for the 3rd mile. Really had to battle the heart rate on that one. Even with the wind. Sub 10. I'm pretty consistently feeling the urge to switch from my nose breathing to mouth breathing. So that's how I know I'm really at that aerobic threshold. I'm actually surprised. I feel better this time than I did last time in this last mile. My speed feels better and I feel less tired. Okay, yes. Last 2/10 of a mile. No rules. I am pleased. I am relaxed. I am calm. So calm. So relaxed. Oh. No. Why was this? What? It says I'm a minute slow. Bullshit. Something doesn't seem right. My paces were better all along. There's no way.
Hold the phone. I was pissed, and that bird wouldn't shut up about it. I didn't see an improvement after 8 weeks of aerobic training. What's worse is, according to my watch, I got 25 seconds slower. First off, what happened? Secondly, where does that leave this vlogumentary that's supposed to show aspiring paddle athletes that aerobic training is the golden ticket everyone should be incorporating into their training so that they improve? When I looked down at my watch and it said 1:01, because in my first time trial, I was 30 seconds over my goal of 1 hour. And today I was a minute over. So I got 30 seconds slower. But I felt like my pace throughout the entire effort was more consistent than the first time, and frankly, much better. I've had a moment to sit down and do some math. Yes, there are, like I said, there's things I need to be honest with myself about. Like, I paddled 32 miles on Saturday. And I don't know.
If this were a race, I would probably push a little harder through this stiff upwind open cove. If I go right up here, I will be into the wind. because it looks like the wind has come up. I can just settle in into the wind. Come on. Into the wind. That wind is kicking my ass because I paddled 32 miles on Saturday. My arms are tired.
The results are there, but you have to be patient and you have to be confident and give it a chance. And then you'll see results. But the hardest thing to do is not go as hard as you think you should be going.
The results are there, he says. I looked at my watch, and I looked at my watch some more, and I couldn't stop looking at my watch. Where were these results? I had been working at this for 8 weeks, along with countless other people. I did feel better, but I didn't see that improvement in my Garmin.
January 1st to April 1st, if our race was in June or July, there was nothing over 70% done.
Okay, I guess 4 months sounds like a little bit longer than a measly 8 weeks.
And recovery is everything, right? I mean, recovery is more important than training.
And I guess 2.5 days after a 32-mile effort wouldn't be considered recovered.
But if you're not working on the base work, you're not going to get the results later. You might get injured, you're going to get sick. Those are some of the things that you can tell when you're not training properly.
But even then, there's got to be some way to know that you're on the right track and improving. As I made a little Excel spreadsheet and I looked at my miles, it was the last mile when I turned around the corner and I had mentioned that the wind came up. I was actually, so my first 5 miles of this time trial were better than my previous time trial, the first 5 miles of that time trial. So I am improving. So I think that I will be retesting, but man, that's just, So it's not the outcome that I was hoping for, but by taking the time to sit down and look at it, I'm not as upset anymore. I am improving in my aerobic zones. And I just, sometimes, the conditions are the conditions. You can't get too hung up on the numbers. What we're looking for is definitely general improvements. And when you're looking to improve seconds over the course of 6 miles at 10K, the wind really makes a difference. So it looks like I have at least a couple months more of base training to get under my belt before I can really be a judge of its efficacy.
Again, and if you really are trying to train for some sort of goal that's big, come to that day, 10 months down the road, 6 months down the road, whatever your goal is, you can't build a tall building without a huge base at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So, it's going to fall over if you just go out and you hammer, and you're not going to peak or have the speed you need. If you want to get fit, go paddle hard and get fit. If you want to get better, train smart.